Hope you can hear me. We're not in the wind today. I came inside into the bowling alley snack bar and thought I'd try to see what's going on here. I'm just going to get the live chat going over here. Live chat, there we go. Okay. Well, plenty of news to talk about today. Exciting things unfolding in South Africa and around the world. So we'll get to that in just a moment. Once I'm talking to someone other than myself. The moment I appear to be talking to myself. There's background noise. I apologize for that. Hopefully you can hear me well. Hopefully the phone drowns it out because you all... Okay, the moment I start talking, it just gets louder in here. But you all demanded, complained about the wind, so I came inside. And now I don't know whether you can hear me or not, but it's definitely just gotten very loud, and here's people just started upping their conversations to a level that's quite annoying, frankly. It's very loud for a dining area. Anybody there? I see no chat coming up at all, so nobody's saying anything. It's just two people here at the moment. Anyway, so after all the complaints about me being in the wind yesterday, I came inside, and now I'm inside. And nobody's telling me whether they can hear me or not. So, can you hear me? Anybody? No chat. Carlos says hello. Can you hear me all right? Carlos says the background noise okay. I can't hear it. I'm just, you can hear me fine. Okay, thank you. Good to go. Okay, good. All right, well, no wind, so not to sit me fighting the wind today, so I'm inside. Welcome back to the program. Looks like the messages are going out now. So some people are being notified that I'm live because people are popping up now. Hello, Sean. Rainier. Is that Livewire? Yeah, Livewire. Hello to you. It's not overpowering. Okay, good. Well, that's this phone is pretty good at canceling out sound. But the problem yesterday was the wind was coming from multiple directions. Kind of boring today, consulting. So had a little problem with the network. Had to fix that. Okay. All right, guys. All right. So interesting things developing in South Africa, where the government of the National Unity, according to News 24, is in jeopardy of collapsing over the budget. Now, that may be the case, but I think that they're just... Rainier got a job now. Congratulations. So, yeah, the News 24 is saying the government of the National Unity will collapse. I don't think that's a foregone conclusion. If, in fact, the budget gets passed without the Democratic Alliance, that doesn't mean they'll leave the coalition. They can throw their toys out of the pram, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to leave. See, another reason why I didn't do this in here is I find the background noise to be quite annoying and distracting. So, it's some guy acting out over, have no idea what he's doing. It's grabbing his crotch. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, time they step away. It's my pleasure, CJ and Maggie. Yeah, so the government of the National Unity has 286 seats in Parliament. You need 201 to pass legislation. These people are all very calm. Now they're having a party here. Sorry, you may not be annoyed by it, but I'm very distracted by it. I wish they'd leave. Unfortunately, I think they just started a lunch break. So, 286 seats. The DA has 87. So if the DA were to leave or to not vote for the budget en masse and all their members of Parliament, yeah, I agree, Frey. It was less interference. It certainly didn't distract me, the wind. Yeah, anyway, so if the DA were to leave I can't go on the other side where nobody's at because they put the music on over there and I'll get a copyright strike. I hate YouTube. It's background music. I have no control over it. So anyway, but 87 votes from the 87 votes from the DA would take the voting total down to 199. Well, you need to go and reset your notifications. Go to my channel, click on the bell, unsubscribe, resubscribe. Make sure you select all notifications. Well, you guys can hear, but you could. Yesterday the wind didn't bother me. Today I can't focus. I can't concentrate with all this damn noise in the background. So that would be 199 votes in Parliament without the DA. But anybody could join any bill and vote and get them over. So every time they bring legislation up, they just need 1 or 2 votes and they get there. So into this space has stepped Herman Mashaba's ActionSA, who didn't join the government of the National Unity last year, but there's 6 votes in Parliament. They sat out. They've been on the sidelines while the Bella bill was signed into law, while the expropriation bill was signed into law, while Parks Tao proposed the 3% black tax. They sat on the sideline and did nothing. So now the ActionSA is being sort of clever from a political standpoint. They're now stepping forward and they are the kingmaker. Without the DA's 87 votes, the ANC cannot pass the budget. However, if ActionSA brings its 6 votes, without joining the coalition or joining the coalition, then the ANC will have 205 votes in Parliament, which will allow them to get the budget passed. With 205 votes, it's in. So, has ActionSA been clever in this? Perhaps. Perhaps. Yeah, well, the noise is about to disappear. Yeah, okay, it's going to be demonstrably better here now because the merrymakers have just left. Those are the noisy people. There are like another 15 people in here, but none of them are that loud and they're all far away. Now I can concentrate. So good riddance. Goodbye, fellas. All right, yeah, they were sitting here quietly and then suddenly started telling jokes and jumping up and down. One guy standing there grabbing his crotch. It's hard to focus when you've got these distractions. Anyway, so ActionSA has been clever. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to join the government national unity, but they've proposed some changes, including a 30-day pause in the budget negotiations, which means that it won't be voted on tomorrow, which it was supposed to be. They've also said that the personal income tax tables would not be adjusted for inflation, and that they expect to see lower revenue of about 28 billion rand to the government. Well, the Treasury's own estimation for those changes would be 31.5 billion rand, so somewhere in there's going to be a lot of money lost. So I'm not really sure how that proposal ranks with the ANC. Maybe with the 0.5 VAT increase, they're going to get a lot more money than that from the VAT, because here they're going to get they're not going to get 18 billion rand if they thought they're going to get. So I'm really not sure why the ANC would go along with this, but apparently they're happy with it. So we'll see what happens going forward. We'll see what happens going forward. Okay, so as I said, News 24 says that this would be the end of the perhaps by stabbing every time it's back by supporting this abomination. But well, Peter, I don't disagree with you. I'm just talking about politically. I'm not in favor or against ActionSA. I'm just analyzing their role politically, what they've done here. But it's getting loud in here again. So, it's funny how the dynamics of groups, it was quiet, and then one group of people just gets obnoxiously loud, and then the whole room gets louder and louder and louder. But anyway, so yeah, they're just being clever here. So I don't know what they hope to get out of it other than attention, but they're certainly getting attention from it now. So there you go. Fikile Mabalula says the VAT increase is not permanent, that it will be withdrawn. Please tell me whenever anyone ever increased personal income taxes and it's been reduced. When? Other than the United States, under Reagan, under Bush Jr., and under Trump. Taxes never get taken down. They just get increased. Sweden is another example. They lowered it in the 1990s, but normally once they put a tax in, they don't take it back. But Fikile Mabalula is trying to convince people now that if the VAT is increased, it's just temporary. It will be withdrawn. I'm not buying that for a second. Now, he's also saying that the DA is undermining the GNU. He says that the passage of the budget, implying that with the budget, if ActionSA is the partner to get the budget approved, there could be a reconfiguration of the government national unity. Well, sure, there could be. And donkeys could fly by right now. Pigs could fly. If one of the mods could put the Telegram group in there, it'd be great. Thanks. Yeah, we temporarily went off the gold standard. That's correct. Yeah, we temporarily put in the Environmental Protection Agency. So Namibia lowered theirs last year. Okay, didn't know about that. I didn't see that listed anywhere, Blackcurrant. Okay. I don't recall it anyway. ActionSA is desperately seeking attention here, relevance. So they found their niche by being part of the negotiations for the budget, so we'll see how it goes forward. But let's go back to earlier this month when they were talking about the budget, and the head of the South African Revenue Service, Kieswetter, claimed that 100,000 South Africans who earn R1 million per year were not paying their taxes. Now, how in the world can 100,000 people not be paying their taxes? How is that possible? At the same time, SARS, the South African Revenue Service, claimed that they had 16 petabytes of data. 16 petabytes. That's a lot of data. But they were saying, despite all the data they have, they need more money to track down the tax sheets. That's comical, to say the very least. Ich muss mir sagen, dass es geht mir langsam auf die Nerven, diese Leute, sie sind immer lauter geworden und das wird immer höher, höher, höher. Es ist nicht einfach zu hören und beobachten, was los denn hier ist. Yeah. So back on the 13th of March, when they're having these negotiations, Enoch Gondwana claimed that the DA had compromised Treasury by saying that the budget was an ANC budget. Well, it's true. It is an ANC budget. Luthuli House came up with the budget. They didn't consult any of the GNU partners. No one else is in the finance ministry, only the ANC. So how could it not be anyone but the ANC? No, that's nonsense. That's okay, Bruce. That's nonsense. There's only one document out there. It's the February 7th. I keep saying 6th. February 7th. February 7th executive order. There's no mention of military veterans. That's just nonsense. See, this is the problem with South Africa. South Africans, especially men, are like chatty, cafe clutch women. They like to tell rumors and spread innuendo. I don't know, it's the history of Afrikaners. It's endemic to that community. It's worse than most other communities. If that hurts your feelings, too bad, because those of you who know Afrikaners, know the Boers, know that what I'm saying is true. Yeah, that's BS. I don't know where that came from. That's nonsense. Now, if someone thinks that might be something that's discussed later on, it could very well be the case, but that is not. And why would they do that? I mean, look at the optics of that. Think about that for a second. Cornelius Great, and thank you for becoming a member. Think about the optics of that for just a second. Trump is already falsely called a racist, and we already see the administration being falsely attacked over trying to rationalize our budget. Imagine if the Trump administration said, we're going to take South Africans, but only white South Africans who fought for the SADC to uphold apartheid. Can you imagine the backlash from that? That's an own goal of epic proportions. It's never going to happen. Also, it runs contrary to the nature of who Donald Trump is. So, no, I mean, people come up with these rumors. It's just absolutely crazy.
282, tacos to go.
All right, so that just doesn't make any sense to me. So here's a new one. Well, hopefully you get the next notification. Yep. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, look, it's a quirk with YouTube. It just does it that way. I just think it's their poor systems. Anyway, so get this. Now, AfriForum and Solidarity have been rubbish for coming to America. DA's been rubbish for coming to America. What they don't tell you is all kinds of other people coming to America. So finally, the media reports today that last week, South African business leaders came to the United States to lobby Congress. Yeah. Now, they went to great length to put in the story that they didn't do certain things. They said they weren't lobbying, but that's exactly what they were doing. So I'm waiting to hear about treason charges for the members of South Africa's business community who came to the United States last week to lobby our members of Congress. Will there be treason charges against them? I mean, why not? They raised the treason charge against MK, put treason charges against AfriForum and Solidarity for doing perfectly legal things. Are you going to have it against these business leaders? So this is the delegation at a minimum who came here. We had Martin Kingston from the Business for South Africa, B4SA. COSATU, the Congress of Southern African Trade Unions, Matthew Parks was here. Mining exec Rick Manel. Holland Chairman Adriaan Enthoven. Agri-SA's Johan Kutza, who spread misinformation about the U.S. refugee program. And Sibanye Stillwater CEO Neil Froneman. All of them came to America, these business leaders, last week to lobby members of Congress. Yet no one's complaining about that. No, it's just your side, guys. Nothing wrong with my signal. Nothing wrong with my signal. I think two couple people have problems, but anyway, lower your resolution at the bottom. Go from the high resolution, high definition down to a lower setting, and you should be able to get the video okay. All right. So now they were supposed to have a retreat with Ibrahim Rasool, the Fool, who was PNG'd and sent back to the States. So that meeting was canceled. They had planned it ahead of time.
75, circulating.
What's this? Some folks think that Skinner's too much. Skinner is the devil's rooster. I have no idea what you're talking about. Richard, I have no idea what you're talking about. Yes, the ANC did say that, and I reported that yesterday, but then MK needs to withdraw the charges. COSATU's Parks, Matthew Parks, took the opportunity to trash AfriForum and Solidarity while he was doing exactly the same thing in America that they were doing. Yeah, he said, I don't think that the flurry of AfriForum, et cetera, spreading misinformation has helped anybody. I don't think the flurry of misinformation from AfriForum and others has helped anybody. Well, there was no misinformation. It was falsely reported by the media and people lying about what they did. So I think that actually the issue, hey Adele, thank you for the super chat. I think actually that people like Matthew Parks spreading misinformation and lying is not helping anybody. Okay, mods, is there a troll here? All right, so if mods are here, I'm going to ask you to start taking care of the trolls, okay? You know, this is how desperate and pathetic the losers on the left in South Africa are. They have to send trolls in to disrupt the news broadcast. It's so sad. I suggest you remove your member from your left or right hand. Let that blood flow back to your brain. So where are my moderators at? I don't see any moderators in the chat. Nobody's here. The questionnaire was issued last night, Lindy. You can download it from the groups. I can't put it on Twitter. Twitter doesn't let you put documents, just photographs and videos. Or I would have put it on Twitter last night. So you got to be in one of the groups. All right, Ronell, watch for the trolls. Somebody's saying there's a troll here. Make sure they're a troll. Just give a timeout for 5 minutes if you're not sure. All right? But these people are really desperate to shut down the news. They're so fearful of the truth. All right. So, now Kingston, who was part of this delegation, said that their role was not to represent the government of South Africa. Yet he later stated in this article that it would not be appropriate to give more information about the trip to the media until after they've spoken to the government. So this business delegation that came to the States, that came here to lobby Congress, rubbished AfriForum and Solidarity, saying they were not allowed to lobby the United States politicians. These guys did it. and then they say, we can't tell you more about it. We're not representing the government. We can't tell you more about who we talked to until after we talked to the government. So you do represent the government. What a crock. Yeah, so should these business leaders be tried for treason? Of course not. Neither should AfriForum or Solidarity. Hey, here's an interesting fact note. The 2019 United Kingdom general election cost $64.6 million. That's pretty cheap for a national election. The 2025 Wisconsin Supreme Court special election that just happened cost $90 million. $90 million. 1/3 more than the entire national election the UK did. Yikes. That's crazy. Cory Booker's in the midst of a 16-hour filibuster at the Senate. He's been talking nonsense for 16 hours. It's not really a filibuster because normally a filibuster is done to, remember the Senate gets up and talks and never relinquishes the floor so that they can delay the vote on a piece of legislation. Well, there's no legislation being considered. He's just railing about Donald Trump. The increasingly irrelevant Cory Booker. 16 hours. And the thing about doing the filibuster is you can't sit down. So they had, his chair was taken away so he wouldn't get the urge to sit down. That's pretty funny. Japan's prime minister says he's willing to fly to Washington, D.C. to get President Trump to give an exemption for Japan on the auto imports, the 25% auto imports, because that could be devastating for, of course, the Japanese economy. So they want that 25% exemption. So there you go. The Attorney General Pam Bondi has dismissed the lawsuit against Georgia's election law that was started by the Biden administration. That law was passed in March of 2021 to reform Georgia's election law, requiring identification and other security measures to protect the vote, integrity of the vote. Of course, famously, Major League Baseball, which had scheduled the All-Star game for Atlanta that season, moved it. The bigoted, racist Major League Baseball moved their All-Star game from Atlanta that year, moved out to Colorado, if I recall collecting. And ever since then, I really haven't watched baseball because of their bigotry and racism. Speaking of bigots and racist, bigot and comedian Amber Ruffin, thank you for the 140 Rand Super Chat sticker there, Lewis. Yeah, so bigot and comedian Amber Ruffin was the featured entertainer for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. But last week on a podcast, she called the Trump administration kind of a bunch of murderers. Well, she's been uninvited. Friends and family only, folks. Friends and family only. Oh my goodness. Suddenly this is Grand Central Station. Look at all these people wandering in here. How's it going? First time I haven't seen in a long time. Since you won't let me put my tent in your backyard, why don't you get a pass to the White House? I requested one. It was all just a scam. Carolyn Levin and we're opening up the White House to, you know, non-traditional media was a scam. It's a scam. Like I said, I was among, I put my request in less than 90 seconds after she announced it in that press conference, and I've yet to receive anything other than confirmation they got the email. They've never contacted me. It's all a scam. All that was is so they could get away with allowing Breitbart and One American News and their friends into the room. Well, I call it a scam. I call it a scam because no one else is going except the little pretty, perky, slim, little, sexy, bleach blonde, YouTubers. A couple of them get in, and then Breitbart and One American News and their friends. That's it. That's it. That's it. So no one else gets in. So, yeah. Anyway, so I call it a scam. They just did it to give themselves background. Right. Okay. So I don't know why people are asking me questions during the news. You should have figured out by now that I don't answer questions during the news. All right. Oh, responding to the Marine Le Pen conviction in a French court, Donald Trump says it sounds a lot like this country, where they're trying to use the courts to prevent their political opponents from running for office, because this effectively bars Marine Le Pen from the presidential election in 2027, banning her from running for office for 5 years. Yeah. So I think it's all trumped up charges based on the information they made available publicly. I don't have all the information. But Viktor Orban, bless his heart, Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, in response to the conviction of Marine Le Pen, posted on his X account, Je suis Marine. Je suis Marine. In other words, I am Marine. That's brilliant. Just like I did with the I am Sky when she was being abused. Yep. Wow. Meanwhile, 23 states and the District of Columbia are suing the Trump administration over cutting $12 billion in funding from the Department of Health and Human Services. They're also suing RFK Jr. So I appreciate my moderator just deleting something. I do appreciate that. I think people ought to have better judgment than to post things in here about people's locations, people's phone numbers, people's identity. You should know better than that. Thank you to my moderator. Do not put things like that in chat. You will be removed or given a timeout. You know, this is a dangerous world full of fools, so stop it. I mean, do not, if I'm in Times Square, that's fine. But do not release information so people who have mischievous intent can do mischievous things, all right? Thank you very much for that, Ronell. Appreciate you being on top of that. Okay, all right? So 23 states are suing. Attorney General Pam Bondi is going to seek the death penalty for Luigi Mangione. That's the fool who walked up and executed the healthcare official who was out for a walk in the morning in Manhattan, just executed him and walked away. I'm not sure what federal charges he's facing, but he is facing federal charges. Okay? Yeah, and don't draw attention to yourself by apologizing. I didn't mention you by name. Now I'm not eating because I'm doing the broadcast. I'm hoping some of these people leave so it gets quieter in here. All right. Now here's really big earth-shattering news that Finland, which recently joined the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, their prime minister has announced that they will withdraw from the Ottawa Convention. The 1997 Ottawa Convention was put in place to ban anti-personnel landmines, which are devastating. The United States never signed the treaty because we rely on anti-personnel mines in Korea to prevent the North Koreans from invading South Korea. And because of that, we've still had anti-personnel mines. But Finland in 2012, after destroying about 1 million of their landmines on the border with the Soviet Union and Russia, they signed the convention and became part of the Ottawa Convention in 2012. Well, now they're reversing that because of the threat from Russia. They will now, once again, be able to use anti-personnel landmines on their border, which is the longest contiguous border from a NATO country with Russia. Interesting enough, last month, to little fanfare, little announcement in the press, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland also all abrogated the 1997 Ottawa Convention. They are now going to use landmines as well. See, this is the problem, folks, with this constructivism in international relations. The concept of constructivism is bankrupt. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. This kumbaya, we can all just get along. People need to read Thucydides and the Malian Dialogue. The strong will do what they want, and the weak will suffer what they must. The world of realism when it comes to geopolitics is how the world actually functions. Constructivism is a nice concept. We can all get along, create the World Health Organization, and eradicate polio. Sounds like a lovely plan. Sounds like a lovely plan. But in reality, folks, it only works in a limited way. Large, powerful countries will do what they want when they want. That's how the world works, and that's just how it's going to be. And that isn't going to change anytime soon. Despite Francis Fukuyama's end of history commentary at the end of the Cold War, things are going to continue the way they've always continued, with realism. And that's the problem with these idealists who think that, well, if you just have an agreement, but the problem with agreements are, let's take the Paris Climate Accord, for example. China doesn't comply with that. They're the world's largest polluter. How can you leave the country that produces 36% of the world's pollution and its greenhouse emissions out of the Paris Climate Accord? They don't only get sanctioned for it. They build over 350 coal-fired power plants every year, and the rest of us are paying exorbitant rates for energy for this unicorns and rainbow fantasies of alternative energy that's simply unaffordable and ineffective. Silly, silly stuff. Excuse me. Well, gee, the problem with anti-personnel mines is that, number one, they get displaced. Soil moves, water moves, it moves mines around. They get displaced by explosions, and they're not in the same place they were. So, yeah, it's a problem. You can make the best maps of landmines, but then others come along and put landmines. So, yeah, gotta be careful with them. It's very dangerous. Not a big fan of them. They do horrific damage. So, as I said, Finland only ratified the Ottawa Convention in 2012, and now they're withdrawing from it, just a little over a decade later. It shows you the futility of constructivism. Now, there'll be people who argue that, no, that's not true. Constructivism is very important. It works, but I'm going to tell you, it's not so great. It doesn't work so well. That's the bottom line. Anyway, that's my news for today, folks. Any thoughts or comments or questions? Now I can answer your questions. We have to close some mines for standards. What's this? Excuse me, for emissions, okay? Landmines are evil, permanently damage my hearing. I've seen victims miss. Yeah, no, I'm with you, Richard. Yeah, they are evil. I've never liked them. They're horrible. Well, virtual Western Cape, wouldn't it be nice if people would just get along? Then we wouldn't have any rapists, any murderers, or politicians. But it doesn't work that way. Okay, Jan, then that is breaking news because that wasn't the deal earlier. The deal was there would be no VAT increase. It is a sellout tactic by ActionSA. The agreement earlier was there would be a 30-day pause on the budget. There would be no VAT increase. Now you're saying that ActionSA has agreed to 1%. Well, assuming all the other coalition partners stay in the Government National Unity voting bloc, then the ANC will be able to pass this budget. So now it falls back, and it's incumbent on the Inkatha Freedom Party to stand for the people of South Africa and the Freedom Front Plus, or the PA. Those three parties have the ability to scupper this deal. If the Inkatha Freedom Party removes its 17 ministers or members of Parliament's vote, then this will fail. If the Patriotic Alliance under Gabe McKenzie withdraws his 9 votes, it will fail. If the Freedom Front Plus withdraws its 6 votes, then it will fail. It will counterbalance the 6 votes coming from ActionSA. So who will step up and stand for the people of South Africa? Will it be Inkatha? Will it be the Freedom Front Plus? Will it be the Patriotic Alliance? Here's a chance for Gabe McKenzie to show his true relevancy by stepping forward. Or will these three parties, who all have ministerial positions, be cowards and not vote to protect the people of South Africa? Let's see what happens, folks. Let's see what happens. Thank you for that update, Jan.
Kate Nelson, she's legal worker. Mike Mara, Trent Hunt, Fred Maddox, Clay Manning, Chris Wyatt, Bill Donnelly.
Yeah, Finland has withdrawn since it all became real. Exactly. You know, the Ottawa Convention is a lovely idea, but when your sovereignty is threatened, the safety of your people are at risk, people change their minds. Again, moderators, please post the Telegram link. I've asked someone to do that. I don't have it. I can't do that from my mobile. Okay? Somebody can do that. Alex, what I would suggest is, every time I put the link in here, you not ignore it, and you should have joined the group sooner. What do you want an update on the interview questionnaire? It's done. Okay, look, I'm going to try not to lose my shit here, okay? All right, I'm going to say this for the 1,000th time. Folks, I would really appreciate if instead of asking questions that have already been answered, you actually watch my videos. It's not hard, if you're interested only in this channel for the refugee program, to go to the playlist that's called the Trump U.S. Refugee, something like that playlist. I made a video. I stayed up until after 2 o'clock last night in the morning to make a video about the questionnaire and told you guys about the questionnaire. And then I posted it in the Telegram group and in 2 WhatsApp groups, plus a couple other refugee groups that people have made. I mean, it's not too much to ask. Okay? It's there. It's there. So that's the update on the questionnaire. Well, you say virtual Western, okay, which proposal? The ActionSA proposal a couple hours ago when I researched the news was not an increase. Now you're saying it's an increase. So you guys are talking about the one Jan just talking about. $1 million dialogue should be applied to South Africa's minorities and majorities. The minorities appeal to conflict for more letdown. Yep. PDF is on Amerikaners. Yeah, okay, I gave it to the Amerikaners as well. Thank you. There you go. I gave it to the Amerikaners. I hope they give credit for where they got it from. And 700 rand from Undelo. Sorry, I can't see that. Andreo Fick. Well, thank you, Andrea. That's very kind of you, man. That's awesome. Thank you for this. Unbelievably how well you have studied and understand South African history and politics. Well, thank you very much, Santiago, for San Giorgio. I can't read what that says. It looks like it says San Giorgio for her. Yeah, thank you for your kind words. But I mean, we can talk about many countries. I'm a historian, political scientist, intelligence analyst. I know this about many countries. I see I may have Native American blood. That's interesting, Tom Off. Especially since your username is Tom Off. Yes, hey, there's Articles here. The questionnaire PDF was shared on Telegram WhatsApp groups. Yep. Rian says, thank you, you're welcome. I think you know our politics and history better than, well, I know it better than most South Africans. Thank you. Not some Spikerland. Alex, it's okay. Don't apologize. So don't apologize. It's just frustrating. I mean, honestly, look, guys, I drop what I'm doing to bring you the news with genuine analysis and help people out as quickly as possible whenever it happens. The only reason I miss something is if I'm busy doing something else and people alert me to it, and then I'll come back to it. But last night, I have been promising to, but I need to put a disclaimer into that document so that people don't misuse it. So I wrote the disclaimer last night, I printed it out, then I made the video, explain what was going on. I saved it as a PDF, an Acrobat PDF, and then I uploaded those groups. So it's just frustrating that you put the time and effort in, and then people come say, what about this, what about this? It's there. I appreciate people coming to lives. It's awesome that you're here for the live, but please check all my videos out. You don't have to watch all of them, but look and see. And we always tell you it's there. News 24 said only 100 people might go to the U.S. Center after opportunity. I didn't see them say that. They did report, basically they plagiarized the New York Times article. They pretty much just copied what the New York Times article said and repeated, just put it in their own story. So the New York Times article said 100 people are already being considered for it, even though the program doesn't exist. These will be the people in preliminary interviews. Not all of them, maybe all of them, I don't know. So if News 24 says that, you can bet your bottom dollar that I'll make a video this evening rubbishing News 24 for that.
In a perfect world.
There's the playlist Renell just put up on the channel.
He is
I don't think the DA uploaded Genio. Stupid Telegram updates I'm getting here. Very annoying, blocking my screen. No, South Africa doesn't really matter anymore, does it? And South Africans can't accept that. Well, the current GM parties won't have enough votes. They need the 40% from the ANC. Yeah, I'd like to see where Gabe McKenzie falls down on this budget. Army 3275's mom is not well, okay. No, Pierre, no one has been interviewed anywhere other than Pretoria at the moment. It's only been Pretoria. And that's all expected to be in this preliminary phase. It costs money to send people other locations, so they're going to Pretoria. Plus, you got to understand that when we send diplomats to places or people who are doing a mission for the embassy, they require diplomatic security and protection. Putting people in multiple locations complicates and increases the cost of doing something. Right now, the State Department is a bit of chaos. Number one, when administrations change, there's always a number of people who retire or leave, and political appointees resign. That's the normal course. So there's always some tension while new people are being introduced to lead different departments, different bureaus, different sections with political appointees. All of that's going on. But in the midst of all that, we also have this DOGE move to reduce the size of government. So that has led to some people leaving the State Department. So they are at minimal staffing right now, which impacts. It's not just the diplomacy folks, it's also the trade folks, it's also the refugee folks. All of these departments are under pressure right now. So it doesn't make any sense for them to travel over South Africa to hear from people. The stories of people in Cape Town or in Eastern Cape or in Northern Cape or Mpumalanga or KZN are not going to be markedly different than those who were invited from those places to come to Pretoria. As I said, people from Cape Town are traveling to Pretoria to be interviewed. People from KZN are traveling from KZN to Pretoria to be interviewed. People from Gauteng are going to the embassy. So for now, that's what's going to be. All right. What you all need to do is get yourself out of this damn mode. There seem to be a lot of people who are like, oh, if I'm not in the preliminary, I'm not in the preliminary. Relax. You know, there can only be so many people interviewed as they do the fact-finding mission. And they've already figured out who they're going to interview. So if you haven't been contacted for an interview, then you're probably not going to be contacted unless they decide to need more information. So just relax. And the 100 people is a joke. I don't. News 24 is full of it. How do you get in the WhatsApp group? Well, you join LSR. It's pretty simple. You click on the link and join. But the WhatsApp groups are full, as I've said over and over again. That's why I've encouraged you to join the Telegram groups. I'm not increasing and making more WhatsApp groups. I don't get paid for this. I don't have time to update all these things. Plus, I got people attacking me all the time about, oh, there's too many people coming in your group, which is a lie. The groups I've established, no one can communicate in them except myself and moderators. That's it. So it's a receive mode only. And that's so that people don't get inundated with messages and BS and people's opinions, like, well, only 100 people are going to go, or only farmers, or only white people, or I have to slaughter all my hamsters and my chinchillas because I can't take them. So none of that nonsense is going to be in there. Not to mention trolls, they can't put anything in the group. So those are tightly controlled groups. You can join them, but you have to ask. And right now there's like 40 people waiting to get on the second group, I think, and there's 60 waiting for the first group. And I go through every day, and as people leave the groups, I add as many people as I can, but WhatsApp only lets 1,025 people per group, so it's not a very effective thing for broadcasting. Telegram allows 220,000 people in a group, so there are currently about 1,600 people in the Telegram group. I would encourage you to go to Telegram. South Africans are very stubborn. They're all freaking old Tanis. They simply refuse to change their ways. I don't know why South Africans are so resistant using Telegram. I'm not promoting Telegram. I'm just saying it's much more convenient. Number one, you can hide your identity in Telegram so nobody knows who you are. You don't reveal your telephone number. That's a nice feature. All right? I mean, if my telephone number wasn't revealed in WhatsApp, I wouldn't be harassed all damn day by people asking me dumbass questions that I've already answered. Because they have my phone number. But in Telegram, you don't have that. You can hide it. So I would encourage you to join the Telegram group. Just download the app. It's free. Now, Sherry, the information came from the New York Times, but if News 24 said that only 100 people are going to go, then they lied, or they're not very good analysis. The New York Times, while their article was far from balanced and was slanted, did not claim that only 100 people are going to go. That's not true. They reported 100 people are being considered. You think there might be a war? Anything's possible, but I don't think that's happening. All right, 360, take care. So Madeline Ruiz downloaded it from the Amerikaners and not from me. Currently doing an absolutely amazing job. If only people would listen. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? How do I know the money is not NGO? Huh? You Can't YouTube be unchecked, trace route for illicit money channels? What are you talking about, Spiker? Sometimes I wonder if you've been drinking a bottle of wine before you get in the chat, because what you're saying makes no sense at all. Who are you talking to? Rohan, thank you for the 40 rand super chat. Joe Cruiser.
Yeah, what was that?
Well, I'm not pissed off. You know more about Salva than I do, and many others. We hardly follow the news anymore because they sing from the same hymn sheet. Well, Jason, it's not a question of following the news. It's a question of knowing the history, and I know that. But thank you for your compliment. Well, thank you, James. Or Jason, I am the most reliable source of news. Volmerons, yeah, I think you're the only one who can't see me. Everyone else can see me and they hear me fine. Refresh your page. I saw the one from Andreo. I just got to a while ago, Berlin. 700 rand. I thanked him for it. Would I recommend Pennsylvania as a good destination for South Africa to qualify? No. Don't come to Pennsylvania. It's terrible. It's a systemically racist state. We have poison water. The air is filthy. It's full of criminals. It's unsafe. Don't come to Pennsylvania. No. You don't want to come to Pennsylvania. These are not the droids you're looking for. No. You want to go to New Jersey, California. That's where you want to go. To answer your question honestly, Andrew, Pennsylvania is especially central part of Pennsylvania, between the suburbs of Philadelphia in the east and the suburbs of Pittsburgh in the west. The rest of the state is mostly rational, normal human beings. A bunch of lunatics in those two cities, but yeah, so it's a nice, reasonable place to come to. No, I'm not eating. Yeah, it's gotten a lot better, Barbie. But there's still some people here. Yeah, use my Substack. Hey, Dina, I'm doing okay. Thank you for asking. Yes, Alta, I did see the new law, and I reported on it when he signed it, days ago. The media are just getting around to reporting on it now, but I reported on it several days ago. So, yep, I did report on it. This is what friend said to me today when asked if he would go. He said, no, thank you. I'm not going to live in a concentration camp for 2 years before you're allowed to work there. What a frickin' moron your friend is, Jeremy. Your friend's a moron. Don't call your friend a moron. I'll call your friend a moron. Where do people get these stupid notions from? First off, there are no concentration camps in America. What a deuce. What a deuce. Yeah, and allowed to work. You're allowed to work instantaneously. I mean, the 2 years doesn't make any sense at all. The only people who are not allowed to work when they come here are asylum seekers, which are already in the country, and in order to prevent economic migrants from coming here on a tourist visa and then declaring asylum, we don't allow them to work. That dissuades them from trying to do that. But refugees are expected to work, so what kind of moron is your friend, Jeremy? I mean, are they one of the 30%ers? Look, I don't mean insult your friend, but I do mean insult your friend. Stupid people say stupid things. I don't say that to your friend, they won't be your friend very long, but I can say it. What will happen if a radical party is elected in time for the current laws? Why do the building owners in Geopolitical hijack buildings not? Carl Bester, good questions, but building owners in Joburg have taken cases, but they haven't done a class action case. I don't think you're right. Artie, just share the Telegram group and you can find the document in there. Joe says, we appreciate your time. You're very welcome, Joe. Hey, Erica. There you are. Julie Russell with $10. Thank you for all your tireless work. You're welcome, Julie. Wouldn't know what to say if I asked for preferred state in U.S. I think I just asked for a place with similar climate. Yeah, the mainstream media is just so dishonest. And because they're dishonest, it creates a space for people who are honest, like myself. Yeah, no, the Trump administration, some people working more than 14 hours. That's why I'm working 15, 18 hours a day, because I have to keep up and stay ahead of the Trump administration. With all the things they're doing, someone has to analyze and give you the truth, the objective truth. So it keeps me busy. But the reward is coming. Look, it's 815 people currently watching the program, 517 likes. Be sure to hit the like button.
Maybe tomorrow I'll be able to reattach.
Okay.
Here's what I would
But apparently a Cape Town radio station is playing sound clips of Shoot the Boar. Are you serious? hadn't heard that. Yep, Trump says to investigate, so that's what they're doing with preliminary interviews. Exactly right, G9. Spot on. Patience, people. Hopefully interviews will happen in major cities. Yep. Oh, Jeremy knows this BS, the steam company. Yeah, no chinchillas. Exactly. What the hell is that? Thanks for all the info. We are patiently waiting Western Cape. We actually fled down from Northwest. Needs be will travel Pretoria. There you go. All right, cool, Pierre. All right, gotcha.
Oh, just so wrong.
Well, yeah, South Africans can be very suspicious and untrusting. That's true, virtual Western Cape. Len worried about being left behind. South Africans are obsessed with WhatsApp. They absolutely are. And the Tanis are obsessed with Facebook. Getting people to move from Facebook to some other platform is impossible. Arno said, I must make correction. Here's what they said.
Okay. Yeah.
I cannot find this document. Apologies, I missed the referral to it. Can one of the mods please assist? Well, I don't know what you're talking about there, Flux Capacitor. It's just been posted. The Telegram link was posted. It's in the Telegram group. I get a lot of spam with Telegram too. Dr. Clue, just delete it.
They don't take their retirement.
Odin wants my number. I got some harassing you. No thanks.
You get a bill.
We'll see if it'll be tomorrow. I don't know the current state now. If there's been agreement, then we'll see tomorrow. But earlier reporting was that they were going to delay it for a month, so I don't know what's going on. Apparently you guys have got more recent information. Dolph says America will not be that much safer. I don't know what planet you're living on, Dolph. 23,000 murders per year in a country of 63 million people. 14,000 murders in a country of 360 million people. I think that alone pretty much says you're mistaken in your comment. Barbie says good German. That was a long time ago I spoke German. You just joined the Telegram group, okay? You can send me a link in the email, it's fine.
For AY27, you still have Warner and Duncan.
Well, I don't know what you mean, Myra Prinsloo, about a landing spot. First off, there's only a couple ports of entry to the United States from South Africa. Unless you fly to Europe, you're going to be pretty limited on how you get to the United States. There's only two places that flights from South Africa come from, Newark and Atlanta. So that's the only place you're going to come. So what do you mean by landing spot? And if you go to Europe, there's more places. You can fly pretty much anywhere from Europe, but that's much more expensive. So I'm not sure what you mean by landing spot. Sean Nadia gave 50 Rand towards a new SIM card. Well, thank you for that, Sean. And Andre Lafic says another 350. Wow, put you over 1,000 Rand for the super chat. Thank you for that. That's awesome. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate it. Watch me on the big screen. I hope my wrinkles aren't showing. ActionSA votes for the VAT in budget. They will be dead with their voters in the next election. Right, there's no need to split. So the DA will stay. They'll vote against it and they'll stay. Yep. You're welcome, Ice. Can't see what that is. Jan Fadril, you've heard me answer this a million times. Americans know nothing about it. They don't really give a flying flip. They don't pay attention to refugees until they show up in their neighborhood. Most Americans don't even know about any of these programs. So there is no general feeling. There's general ignorance of the program, and people just don't know about it. Sure, the should check in the USA done on us much more effective. Oh yeah, it's much more effective. Trust me. Myra says, "Great job. Love your take on things. I'm also a Burmese. Ooh, you're a Burmese." Hey Myra, how you doing? Myra's a Burmese. Okay. Way behind the chat. Best practice, people need to take the time to do their own research and make decisions based on this. Don't just accept everything without proper research and testing. 100%, Dean Binks. Have I ever suggested anyone do anything other than that? Same with the news. I always give you the receipts. It's like the question earlier about Trump is going to let SADF veterans come in, give them special priority. That's nonsense. There's no such thing. The only official document on this is the 7 February executive order. Montana. Can I email some chicken schnitzel? No, it's all right. I'll pass. Okay, thank you for the budget breakdown, Chris Ehlers. Thank you, Dark Water. Don't come to PA, exactly. Boy, it got very quiet in here now, didn't it? Now I can whisper. It got very quiet. Most of the noisy boys and girls have left. They've gone back to work. California, that's mean. Alaska's incredibly expensive. Virginia's okay, but it's really crowded. Make it sound like Brock Band. Yeah, Liz Wheeler says my sister's on, Christine Livingston. Well, hello, Christine. How you doing? I'm sorry, I'm busy chatting with Bournemeister right now, so I missed that. Sorry about that, Liz. One reason Nancy does everything. I didn't say anything about Joyce Blame or Aranya. Superstar, thank you that. Steven's running away now. Oh. And Andrea Fick has given another 350 Rand. Wow, this is a small token appreciation. Well, thank you, Andrea. I salute you. Appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Well, the Rust Belt is an aphorism applied to the Midwest because the industrial area is passed by. So the third industrial area we've passed, we're now in the fourth industrial area. And so the industry, the steel mills, the automobile manufacturers, the manufacturing base that was in Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin, those areas, they call it the Rust Belt, but that's a misnomer. I mean, Ohio is a very vibrant economy, full of insurance companies and software companies and medical research companies, and yes, the industrial base, not to mention a very incredible agricultural sector, and I know because I was a dairy farmer there. Very incredible agriculture. So Ohio is an amazing state. I've never lived there again in my life, but that's where I was a resident of that state from 1978 until 2019, even though I only lived there for a short period of time. Fetterman turned out to be, I don't know about the best Democrat ever, but he certainly turned out to be very different than he campaigned as. Virtual Western Cape, I have my back to the door, but I can see the door. See? I can see the door. I don't have to have my face looking at it. I can see it. It's in the camera. I'm looking at the screen. I can see the door. What new low is that, huh? Well, Tiny Players, my last video wasn't when I was in the wind. Since that video, I've done a live stream last night. I made 2 prepared videos last night. I did another video this morning. That's 4 times. That was five videos ago is when I was in the wind. That was yesterday. No, I don't. No. When I had my original channel, one of the businessmen from South Africa gave me a $500 super chat once. $500. It was 10,000 Rand. I've had a couple of those. I had 350, a $400 super chat, but I don't get those anymore. That was all before COVID, or as COVID was unfolding. Yeah, a lot of people are uninformed, Black Current. That's correct. Central Pennsylvania. All right, Nico. Hank says, I'm just thinking of the poor people that cannot afford to travel to cities for interviews and cannot afford the money for passports and police clearances. All right, Hank, stop. You don't pay for police clearances. What are you talking about police clearances? We, the American government, do background checks on people. You don't pay for police clearances. You don't pay for anything. Why? What does this pay for stuff? Stop that. That's fake news. You pay for nothing. Passports? I don't know the answer on that, folks. I've told you, you should get a passport. You should always have a passport. People are complaining they don't have money for a passport. But it's interesting because people don't have money for passport yet, and I can't say for people here that are in this chat saying that, but I know people like this. I don't have money for passport. But you got money for cigarettes. But you got money for Casa Lager. But you got money for data. Some people don't have that money, but many of those people say they have money. They do have money. They just don't have priorities. And as far as going to big cities, right now, there are only preliminary interviews being done, Hank, at the embassy in Pretoria. That's not how it's going to continue. As I said, based on the interest in this program, I suspect that it's probably going to be rolled out to multiple cities. So I don't know why you've come with that thinking about the poor people. What is there to think about? Either you're desperate or you're not desperate. 7.6 million people are sitting in refugee camps in Africa, registered with UNHCR, waiting to come to America or to another country as refugees. Some have been there for years. You're going to the front of the queue. People need to be patient and wait till we have the facts, okay? Exactly, Hank. Arctic, yeah, there are groups that help. And again, you know, what's really frustrating to me is why don't people think out of the box? I mean, honestly, I already had someone on this channel pay for passports for 2 different people. Why just put your hands up? Oh, can't do it. Oh, can't go here. Can't, no. I mean, if I was desperate to help my family, I'd freaking hitchhike from Zairus to freaking to Pretoria. That's what I would do. That's just me. If I was desperate, I would find a way to get the money to get passports. If I was desperate, I would focus on getting it done and meeting the standards. I wouldn't allow disinformation and misinformation to cloud my judgment. I mean, if I was desperate, I would have gone. I mean, if you were interested in this program and you haven't gone to the whitehouse.gov website and read the president's executive order, then how serious are you about this? Honestly. It's not hard. It's not long. It's in English. It's not complicated. And I've told people on every broadcast, whitehouse.gov, go to the executive actions, left-hand side. Boom, used to be at the top, now it's on the left-hand side. Click on it, go back to February 7th, and you'll find it. Egregious actions of the South African government in announcing this executive order, given the applicability. And you will find out immediately right there that it doesn't say anything about farmers. It doesn't say anything about white people. It says Afrikaners. So, you know, I just don't think some people are serious about this. Some people just like to bellyache. I'm not talking about Hank, but some people just like to bellyache and complain about things all the time. Then, you know, and if all you do is bellyache and complain, then maybe you don't want this. People are deceived. Not by me. Luckily, I'm from Pretoria, so I was asked to go for the interview. I would just go sit down. Yep, there you go. It's kind of handy. Danny Koch says, "Please say hi to me. Regards, Danny. Remember, I will buy you a coffee." I'm not into condensed milk, but thank you, Danny Koch. Hello to you. Welcome to you. By the light of Odin. The Tannies are all in the same WhatsApp group. Love sending fake clips and clicking the ads with viruses. NDK, you're welcome. Okay. No one understands what we have been enduring here. Really, Dr. Clue? No one? No one understands? No one understands? Really? Gosh, I guess I've been wasting my time with my content for the past 5 years. They think the United States is renting office parks for farmers to stay in as refugees. This stupid people, man. Stupid. Thank you for that, Jan. I didn't see it. Who got that dirty look, Colonel? What dirty look, Corey? Why are you interested in the affairs of South Africa? Why are you on my channel, Justin? Probably survive a day and night in America, but if it was out there in South Africa nights, yeah, exactly. The notion of refugees seems very hard to grasp. It does seem to be very hard. I guess, some people just don't like things given to them for free. I mean, we spend a ton of money on this. I prefer that we don't spend the money on a refugee program, pay down our debt to be nicer. It is a lovely sunny day here, but it's cold. Temperature dropped from 80s yesterday down to the 40s today. It's crazy. Yeah, Cape Town and Newark. Yep, that's United. Radio 702. Okay. They're the ones who played that. That's interesting. Catherine Bernard, thank you for the 35 Rand super chat. And it's your 5th one. Thank you. Hi, for those who want to leave. I think I can do more to change things here by staying. Okay. Yeah. No, that's cool. Nick 40 Rand. Some people have never traveled or were never living yet when South Africans were safe, had wonderful government, hospitals, and jobs, so they think this is living as normal life. Lorena, you don't have to leave. That's fine. It's fine to stay in the group. You don't have to do that. Love your news, says Morris. Well, thank you for that. Living in the Netherlands now, know nothing about what's going on, says Angelique. Oh, Angelique. Well, how you doing there? Would South Africans have an option to join the branch? Andrew, no. I've answered this thousands of times already. First off, you don't have to come to America to join the U.S. military. We have thousands of foreign nationals who serve in our military. It is a faster path to citizenship. Normally, people have to wait 5 to 7 years before they can apply for citizenship after living here. But if you join the U.S. military and you serve honorably for 3 years, you can apply for citizenship like that. We've long had a tradition of foreign nationals serving in uniform. Civil War is a good example of it. We had lots of Irish and lots of Germans serving in the Union and Confederate armies. Many of them died for a country that they adopted that they weren't even citizens of. So you don't have to. But joining from abroad is not easy. But yes, refugees can join the U.S. military as long as you meet standards. You have to meet the age standards, the height standards, the weight standards. And now, if you come here as a refugee, you're going to meet the legal standards because you've got no criminal background. But there's, if you do drugs, you're not going to be in the military. A lot of you seem to love your weed. You can't do that. I voted no confidence in Cyril. Could be in the cards. That's true. What is going around is that as an ex, you will not be allowed to go to USA. No, that's a lie too. That's a lie, Erica Olivier. That is an absolute lie. There are people currently in the United States in permanent residency who serve in the SADF and serve in the police force. That's a lie. That's a lie. More lies told by more fucking liars who run their mouths and don't know what they're talking about. Now, if you serve in the police and you did something wrong, you won't come here. If you serve in the military and you commit atrocity, you won't come here. So, Hano Vista says, I know the history of the Great Trek. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's already happening. Join the Navy. All right, well, everybody makes a mistake in life. You can join the Navy. If you want to get it right, join the Army. I saw the interview of Ben Shapiro with Answer Notes. It's a pretty good interview. Yes, it's black currant. That's why I said Americans don't know about it. No, there's no tonies in the canteen. Doof says the U.S. has its own problems. It's also the center stage regarding global conflict. We will waste and don't know what you're talking about there. Justin Mayer, why are you interested in affairs of South Africa? Justin, okay, I think, did you ask the question earlier? Someone else asked a question? I think I asked the question back, why are you watching my channel? Let me get to the end here, Justin. Let me see. White wrinkles, evidence of experience. Can I use copy and paste? I don't know what the copy and paste is. All right, well, let's do this for the audience that doesn't know. Okay, so long story short, I'll just condense the whole thing. I'm a historian and political scientist, and I'm a journalist. So I cover what I want to cover. I cover the entire world. Geopolitics, culture, language, economics, energy, sports, you name it. I cover it. So that's why I cover events in South Africa. That's why I'm interested. So why South Africa specifically? Because as a kid, I followed the liberation struggles in the weekly magazines that were taking place in Mozambique, Angola, and Rhodesia. Found it interesting, and I wanted to travel the world. I didn't have any money, wanted to see the world. Africa wasn't on my agenda at that time, but learning about it was. And then I read the book The Covenant by James Michener, which is historical fiction about South Africa, and found it to be a fascinating, screwed up, but very interesting country. So I decided to be interested in it. Then later became a rugby follower as a freshman at university, shortly after that, and picked the Springboks as the team I followed because there was no national team in the United States. And then from there, I decided that I wanted to be a regular Army officer, military intelligence, make full colonel, be a sub-Saharan Africa regional specialist. And I did that. And so my multiple postgraduate degrees were focused on Africa, community regional planning, cultural anthropology, international political economy, international relations, and then strategic studies. All of those different degrees were focused on Africa primarily. I'm a published author by Stellenbosch University, by the Army War College, in popular press, and so that's my interest in Africa. I speak 6 languages to varying degrees of proficiency, and a few of them are actually spoken in South Africa. So, does that answer the question, Justin? I hope. Ronaldo, when did you show up? About 12 minutes ago. Remind you of your grandfather. What the hell? That's kind of an insult. Oh man, I remind you of a grandfather. That's not good. I'm going to dye the hair and cut the beard. Yeah, what's this landing spot? Is that like a phrase? You know, we don't use that term. Program which is being rolled out in phases, reviewed over 2,000, and identified 104 potential. That's correct. That is a correct statement from the New York Times article. Well, that's information that should be not known to the public. That somebody needs to be fired or prosecuted for divulging government secrets. Zippo is made in Pennsylvania. Well, Crayola's from Pennsylvania. Yep. Netherlands, yes or no? Well, I don't know if you want to go there. There's a lot of people there. I don't know if Mississippi has limited income tax. It's possible. Many states don't have it. In Pennsylvania, you don't pay income tax on retirement income. It's my pleasure to update you there, Utingo. Mandy, have you watched any of the Colonel's other content about folk Morlays? Well, Blackcurrant, they're not going to scrutinize any SANDF troops from Angola because SANDF was never in Angola. The SADF was in Angola. But there were no atrocities. There's no reportable atrocities, so I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, that's got a lot quiet, Andrea. Why create a super cheap resident visa for Afrikaners? Why would we do that? I mean, you got people coming here complaining they can't pay 600 Rand for frickin' for a passport. Do you know what 600 Rand is? It's $30. It's nothing. Yeah, the Netherlands is very leftist. That's why I wouldn't go there. Air retirement village, vistas, villas, and towns everywhere. Marius is going to try to annoy Joyce Malema. Okay. NDK gave 100 Rand. Thank you for that, NDK. Appreciate it. Arno Falk says Wyoming. No, Arno, no. You don't. Look. Wyoming's not for you, man. No Pennsylvania, no Wyoming. I can make a recommendation for you, though, Arno. You want to go to a cool place, super cool place, really safe, great beaches, great weather. It's the Pearl. No one knows about it. It's called Geberg. They used to call Port Elizabeth. That's where you want to go, man. You're welcome, Freaky. Boy, a lot of people are getting their messages. They must be misbehaving. Sounds some Burmeister. Yeah. Arno says, thank you for everything, Colonel. Sent the link email. Thank you for that. I'll check it out. I'm glad fluoride is going to be out of the water in the U.S. I'm not. What's this beef about fluoride? I don't understand what people are so annoyed about fluoride for. It's in our toothpaste, so what does it matter if it's in our water? Kevin says maybe it's just a way for America to get hardworking, qualified people for cheap labor. Why do we need you? We have 30 million people here illegally who are cheap labor, undermining the pay of Americans. Why do we need you, Kevin? It's not a way for America to get cheap, hardworking, qualified people. You're making a huge assumption. Given all the belly aching by people in my chat for the past 6 weeks about ooh this, ooh that, they're all destination shopping. Not all, but some of these people. There's nothing cheap from this. We spend $2.7 billion to reload you here, Kevin. That's not cheap. That's not cheap at all. Every year. NDK gave another 100 Rand with a, what's that? Is that a kitty cat? Oh, thank you for that. At least you give us hope. Okay, I hope so, Jason. Okay, thank you very much. Joe's alone on the farm. I'm sorry to hear that you're alone on the farm, Joe. There's a lady who's alone on the farm who wrote to me. I feel really bad for her. You gotta have a safe haven plan. You gotta have a retreat plan. You gotta have, a get out of Dodge plan if you're alone on the farm, even if you're not. Marcel said spot on about something I said. Oh, gotcha, Blackcurrant. Well, that's a suggestion from Americanas, but see, thank you for clarifying that, because Hank earlier said you have to get a police clearance. You don't. I don't know where that came from. See, this is the problem with people recommending things. Now, people need to be very clear. If Americanas are saying, well, we think you should get a police clearance, then they should say you should get a police clearance. Yeah. But people shouldn't assume or shouldn't spread the word that you have to have one. That's just nonsense. And that's how we get all this disinformation.
How the Koreans and Japanese
Exactly. You're not immigrating here. This is a refugee program. We do the checks. As you come on, my cockatoo goes wild. Well, bringing birds in is not easy, man. Philo says, I sound like your wife. Well, I hope I sound more manly than your wife, or she doesn't sound manly. Freaky gave 70 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. He's laughing now. Well, David, David Dalton, you didn't go to Australia as a refugee, now did you? Did you? You didn't go to Australia as a refugee under the United States Immigration and Nationality Act, did you? That's all that applies here, the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1980. We're not Australia. You don't need a police clearance for a refugee program. 8 packets of cigarettes left for the month, but we got our passports. Aha, Pierre's got his priorities in order. I beg to differ on low IQ. A lot of people drink that piss water because it's the top selling beer. I don't think police clearance is going to help at all because we're going to do the checks. So I mean, you think that you're going to pay for police clearance? You're going to bring us a piece of paper to an investigator. Here's police clearance, and we're going to take and accept that? Maybe not. I'm glad I answered your question, and thank you for asking. And again, the answers in my questions are not directed at people asking them. Actually, I'm grateful for some of the questions people ask, even if I rubbish the question, because it gives me an opportunity to get the facts out there. So if you ask a question, don't feel aggrieved. I'm not attacking anybody. I didn't get a question about EFF going to Iran. No, I haven't. I'm going to have to report on that, but I've ignored it so far. At work last month, a 17-year-old told my employer and his teacher to go home. She was confused, so he told her, yes, go home to Trump. We were shocked. I would just laugh at the student.
No, take your time. We're so open for a while.
If the Americaners sent out a list of things you must have, yeah. Anyway, I don't know about that. I'll have to look at that list.
Here we are.
Superstar. Korean tacos. Huge hit.
Now, let's make sure, Corey, that you're not confusing the check sheet that one of my moderators typed up based on the second preliminary interview that one of my viewers was interviewed. I did a video of that standing in the rain, explained the questions asked. My moderator took those questions from the video, typed it up. I scanned that, saved it as an Acrobat file, and then released a video on that last night, and then sent that. I gave that to the Amerikaners, so don't confuse that checklist. I mean, I don't know how back to confuse it. The entire first half page is a disclaimer explaining exactly what it is, but I'm sure somebody will screw it up. If that's the list you're talking about, that's a list of suggested information because those questions were asked of the person in that second interview. It doesn't mean that you'll be asked those same questions when you're interviewed, but I tell you, the odds are pretty strong that you will be asked those questions and more, depending on your experience and where you... So my recommendation is that make sure we're talking about the same thing here, okay? I don't want people to be confused. Money that for Wi-Fi and some pay hospital bills. My missus is work that pays bills. Thank God for medical. $200,000 for back operation. Wow. Yes, he did decline to comment on. What did I decline to comment on? 4 days for passport. Des Steenkamp paid $600 for a passport. Took 4 days to receive. I'm a pensioner and could afford it. Stop crying. NDK gave another 100 Rand. Thank you for that. I'll swim there. Good luck with that. Passport is a problem. Did the application online and completed the application but can't get a booking. They say that we must come back on the 29th. All right, well, what's your rush? No one's leaving South Africa before the 29th of April. If I win the Powerball tonight, okay, let me know. 10 years for the diversity lottery, yeah. Don't worry about these silly questions. Please just let us know when. Okay, no worries, Cheryl. To make a life-changing move, like the life-changing move, if I didn't have the money, I would mow lawn to get sick. Exactly. $180 for a police clearance certificate? Wow, that's $9. People don't have $9 to pay for that. I'm not suggesting you get one, but you don't have $9 to pay for that, but you've got time for smokes and for beer and for data? Come on, man. So Leandra says at the bottom of that list, they mentioned it's only a guideline. That's why I put the disclaimer at the top of my sheet so that people can't lose, because people never, the top sheet they always have, and I number the pages. So if people start with page 2, they'll see that the first page is missing. And I put the disclaimer at the top because people would screw it up, I'm sure. ANC and XA sold out and passed the 1% VAT hike. Well, they voted on it today? Okay. I don't have contact with Trump, but thank you for all the super chats. Yeah, Lawrence, you don't have to hitchhike. You get my point. Make a plan, okay? James Henry Fundameva, you must just be tuning in now, so I won't rubbish your comment. You mentioned in a previous video the tips and questionnaire that you compiled. Where can I get that document? I somehow missed the detail of it. Well, it's in the Telegram group. It's also in the 2 WhatsApp groups, but there's only 1,000 people in each of the WhatsApp groups. I have nowhere else to post it beyond that. So I did share it with the Amerikaners. I believe they're putting it on their website. Hopefully they attribute to me so you know that that's the list you're looking for, so that I don't go the trouble of putting the list that my moderator put together based on an interview that I did, and then I take the time to put it out there only for someone else to publish it, and then people come here and ask me for the list that they already have because they already got it from someone else. So you can go to those places to get it. Well, yeah, Jason, that's for a visa. You're trying to go to visa for business or as a tourist or as a student. Yeah, you have to have a police clearance. That's correct. Yeah, some people are very, Karen, yes, some people are very dramatic. Jennifer Lee Patton, if you're looking to escape South Africa as a refugee from South Africa, of course you have to have a South African passport. Otherwise, it ain't going to work. Oh, my goodness. Crazy. There's $50 from Hans Visser, Namibian born, U.S. educated. Is that 50 Namibian dollars? Oh, that's U.S. Okay. Yeah, I got you. $50. Thank you for the $50, Hans Visser. It's very generous of you. No, Johan Bosman, I would not recommend people to divest of anything. You don't know that you've been accepted in this program. Imagine the program comes to fruition and you don't qualify for some reason, then you have no house, you have no car, you have no nothing. No, I don't recommend it. But then, you know, some people think they're clever. They're like, well, the disadvantage of not doing it now is that if hundreds of thousands of people suddenly abandon South Africa, all this property will be available and it won't be worth anything. My recommendation with Johan is just to be patient, wait and see, and then see if you qualify and you can get out, okay? I wouldn't be selling all my stuff. Found an agency will get me a quicker appointment. They want $1,200 per. Okay, that's bullshit, Alex Smith. Stop. That's fucking fraud. That's a scam. That's a fucking scam. You cannot get a quicker appointment. Do not pay anybody any money. This is free. You are being suckered. I'm warning you now, Alex Schmidt. Do not. If you want to give your money away, just super chat me. Don't give your money. You found an agency that will get you a quicker appointment, but they want $1,200 per applicant. No. It's free. There is no faster queue. You don't get to jump the queue because you paid somebody. If they're doing that, they're criminals, and I want to know their name because I will report them to the Department of State so they can be prosecuted. And if they're doing it in cahoots with someone at the embassy, they will find themselves arrested and kicked out of the embassy. No. You pay nothing for this. Do not pay anybody for anything. Do not pay anybody for anything. Do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? Do not pay anybody for anything. NDK with another 40 rand super chat. Thank you for that. Yes, exactly. Artie says, please don't make serious financial decisions based on social media. Yeah, you're going to look like a fool. Oh wait, now was that about? I'm sorry, maybe I misunderstood. Was that about an appointment to get to the Home Affairs to get a passport? Well, that's corrupt too. Erica Olivier, 35 rand. Justice van Blerk, 35 rand. Thank you. So they did pass it. Well, that happened while I was sitting here. U.S. Army, I think currently 34, Stefan. Well, Veritas, the program will probably remain open as long as South Africa continues to rubbish U.S. national interest and undermine our security, and the racist laws remain in place. So pretty much forever. Is Army tough in real life than what you get from video games? Don't mean squat, tiny players. Army life is very difficult. Being a soldier, being a Marine, not easy life. What if 1 million people want to go? Couldn't take that long. Could be done very quickly, actually. Quicker than you think. You're welcome, JJ Prinsloo. Yeah, there you go. Hans Visser, who gave the 50 rand, said he's a SADF veteran. He declared that when he came to America and is now a citizen. That's not even a refugee. It's not going to stop you. People, stop believing the nonsense of social media. I mean, this stuff doesn't pass the common sense test. You really have to address the common sense, and people are not using common sense here. Thank you for making a lot of sense. I'm just thinking it won't be that when you are approved, you have just a few days to grab. No, I don't imagine it will be just a few days. Well, a lot of people's getting their chat deleted. They must be misbehaving. 729 likes. Now we're at 836. My message was referring to the Home Affairs. Okay, got you, Alex. I got you. That's why I just realized you might have been talking about that. Yeah, that's illegal. That's illegal. But you have to deal with that on your own. I can't help you there. Sorry. Thank you, Alex. But my point is valid because some people are talking about paying services. I'm getting emails from people all the time about, hey, I was sent this. Is this real? And it's all fake, and so I have to tell them it's fake. Morning. Take care. All right. So thank you, Chaos. You're welcome, Save Said A, or South Africa. Yep. I didn't see anything from Tian DeLon, but Keith is answering. We don't care about your experience, don't care about your qualifications, don't care about your age, don't care about your sexual orientation, your preferences, your favorite position. We don't care about your favorite color. It doesn't matter. Refugees for people in peril. It's not immigration. Twangy accent? Oh, twangy accent. Good God. I haven't done my taxes, Art. Nope. Been told that since January, haven't I? Keith says 600 Rand is 1 month's pension. No, it's 2,300 Rand per month. Well, Dion Visser, then I guess then those people just have to give up. Just give up. I mean, they can't borrow money from someone else. They can't go out and hustle for money. They can't stand on a street corner and beg for money. They can't, start a back-up buddy program to get money. They can't do any of that. So I guess they just have to give up, man. Just have to give up. Oh, well, I mean, I don't know how the 7.6 million people currently sitting in refugee camps in Kenya, Chad, and South Sudan ever managed to get there and apply for refugee status. I mean, they just, I don't know how they pulled it off. They just had to give up because they couldn't get the money to get a passport. Come on, man. Andrew, default, there are primary destinations, which are the largest states, and I've run through that list multiple times. I don't have it in front of me. California, New York, Florida, Texas, Pennsylvania, places like that. What state has the best gun laws? I don't know. I'm a member of a couple different organizations that support Second Amendment. I have to check. Barely have food and need 3 passports, but we're getting them. So, yeah, exactly, Madeline. Hang in there. And Wyoming is beautiful. Encyclotrade says, you're a legend. Keep up the good work. You're welcome. My pleasure. Thank you all for the super chats. It's really heartwarming. There are some of us that don't have 30 Rand for our next meal, but that's not going to stop me. There you go, Ben. See, that's the attitude. I mean, think about this, folks. Think about this. Do you really think that nobody's going to step forward to try to help people that want to go? Do you really think that? No, I don't think that. I think somebody's going to step forward and create ways to get money, so. NDK, it's all right. I got to jump ahead here and catch. Okay, there's NDK, another 40 Rand. Thank you for that. There's 350 Rand from Andrea again. Sometimes I think Chris is more South African people born here. Yeah, it's very disappointing from ActionSA, so I'm going to cover that big time later on. Just listen to Chris relax. If you've sent an email to embassy, just wait. They'll answer it. Yep, exactly. Well, wait, but also don't disregard. Pay attention, because if they open a window up and they publish a program and they put an application out, you need to be aware of that. You need to go apply. Okay, don't just go, oh, I sent them an email in February. So, yeah, for now, just wait, okay? Checks boils down to what? No, the checks, no. It's a security background check to see if you're a safe bet to come to America. Okay. Johan, I'm in a good mood. Why would you think I'm not in a good mood? Just joking about born mice a couple minutes ago. It's all right, Graham. Yeah, yeah. I can't believe people can't find the videos either. That's an excuse too. I think some people are just trolling, but whatever. I'm trying to answer questions best I can. All right. Another super chat from Nick, 40 Rand. Let me get to that one. I'm jumping way ahead here. You guys have so much chat here. 140 from Zenobia Golden. I keep missing your lives. Finally got me. Well, Zenobia, I'm glad you're in. Thank you for the 140 Rand. Make sure I don't miss these super chats because I've got to wrap up here shortly. I'm really skipping ahead a lot of comments here. Sorry, guys. Your chat came at such a high speed today. Hauptmann gave 101. 101 gave £2. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Wow, I didn't realize there's this much chat. I'm so far behind. NDK gave another 40 Rand. Boy, NDK's getting a bunch of 40 Rands. You mentioned folks should deal only with the American Embassy consulate and it's free. Do not pay anyone for anything. Yes, Keith, I did a few moments ago. Did her online, went 2 hours. Do biometrics 2 hours. Apply Wednesday. Got passport Monday. There you go, Amanda. Yeah, some people it goes well, some people it doesn't. Glutke, 140 Rand. Be patient. Listen. Be safe. Okay, you're welcome. Yeah. Trying to fight the scams. Wow, there's a lot of chat here. Myra Prinsloo says thank you from Bormice. Myra, thank you very much. 70 Rand, appreciate that. Okay. NDK 40 Rand again. Good Lord, man. Francois Dutoy, I'm a cheapskate, 35 rand. Yes. 35 rand is more than some people have for bread, brother, so thank you for that. Everyone is rushing for passports. You really need one if you're a refugee. We don't know, Sarl Dutoy. I've said this 1,000 times, a million times, over and over again. We do not know. People who have fled from war and wind up in Chad have nothing. They get issued documents by UNHCR or travel documents by the U.S. However, this is an in-country situation unlike any we've ever seen. We've done in-country from Cuba, from Bosnia and Herzegovina, from other places, but this is a very different situation. So all things being equal, and I would expect that you would probably have to have a passport, but we don't know that to be a fact. My point was that you should always have a passport, always have a passport. And people would come back and say, I don't have money for a passport. So then my answer to them is, then don't get a passport. I mean, I'm going to argue with you about getting a passport if you don't have $34 to get a passport. I mean, that's what, my passport costs $180. So if you don't have $34, then don't get a passport. Well, I got 6 kids. Well, I didn't tell you not to keep it in your pants, Sorry, I'm not rubbishing your family, but my point is that if you should always have a passport. You never know what's going to happen. Anyway, should my cat apply for it? No, no cats are allowed. No chinchillas, no hamsters, no gerbils. All right, folks, I've got to go. Be sure to hit the like button. 881 likes. We got about 700 people currently watching. Thank you for the super chats. Are amazing. Guys, you really think that ActionSA is going to let you board an international flight without? Yeah, exactly. That's Arctic. That was my point. You might be able to come to America, but you think the airports company in South Africa is going to let you go through immigration in a South African airport without a passport? I mean, that should be self-evident. Now, maybe they'll make an exception to get rid of you. I don't know, but I mean, come on, guys. All right, so you have to decide for yourself. I mean, you should always have a passport. All right, okay. I've had a passport since I was 19 years old. Always had one. I've gone through a bunch of passports because I had diplomatic passports, official passports, multiple tourist passports. So anyway, all right, that's it. I got to wrap up. Cheers. Catch you guys later. I'm going to go out and set up the FEMA tents right now for all you guys, right next to Latour Creek here. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.